There's a turning point in Foxboro today, the kind that makes you hold your breath. There's a behind-the-scenes move that could redraw the offense, an on-field audition pushing for immediate tweaks, a young piece slotted where few expected, and a decision that says more about culture than raw talent. Want to know what it means for the opener and the months ahead? Who's ready to surprise, and who's at risk of losing ground? You won't believe what we've got today. So take a seat, drop a like, and let's dive straight into the news. Ready for the final plot twist? It starts behind the scenes, where Mike Vrabel and Elliot Wolf have been trimming edges, cutting old ties, and betting on players who fit the new philosophy. Even with veteran wideout Stefon Diggs locked in on a 3-year deal worth up to $69 million, it's clear the offense still needs more firepower to speed up Drake May's learning curve. Plan A targeted stars elsewhere. Those contracts were settled far from Foxboro, and New England was left holding something valuable: financial flexibility and the freedom to strike when the right opportunity appears. That's where a familiar name starts echoing through the hallways again. A target who speaks the language of this locker room and knows how to unlock third downs without chasing unnecessary spotlights. A natural match for the culture Vrabel wants, and the efficiency Wolf is pursuing. If you thought of Jakobi Meyers, you hit the heart of the rumor. Last week, the Raiders wideout requested a trade after failing to land an extension despite posting a career-best 1,027 receiving yards and entering the final year of his deal. On the Patriots side, the equation works on multiple levels. First, the need, injuries, and uneven preseason performances left the receiver room begging for technical leadership and reliability. Second, history. New England bet on Meyers as an undrafted free agent and harvested 4 years of steady production in Foxboro before he spent 3 seasons in Las Vegas. And there's the human bridge. Josh McDaniels brought Meyers to the Raiders when he was their head coach, and now back as the Patriots' offensive coordinator, he knows cold the traits that best fit the plan for May. There's also the financial angle. The Patriots lead the league with roughly $53.6 million of projected 2025 cap space and maintain breathing room in the years beyond. That allows them to absorb a contract and even extend it without choking the roster build. The competitive context matters too. After nearly landing first-tier names who resolved their own deals, the front office can pivot to a surgical solution that raises the offense's floor in 2025, and in the process, accelerates Mayer's development. From a fit standpoint, Meyers brings clean routes over the middle, sharp reads versus zone, chemistry on option concepts, and a red zone presence that helps stabilize drives. He isn't the flashiest receiver, but he's the kind of piece that multiplies the playbook. No one's naive about the calendar, though. The Patriots and Raiders face off in Week 1. Trades between opening week opponents are rare. The more plausible scenario looks like a marathon. New England monitors, Las Vegas tests its trajectory, and if the Raiders turn into sellers near the trade deadline, talks heat up again. The fan base is buzzing. Some want immediate aggression, others preach patience to avoid inflating the price. As your relentless defender, I see a controlled cost move with high locker room impact that doesn't irresponsibly burn draft capital. If the team confirms the expected progress and stays alive into the stretch run, reuniting with Meyers could be the shove that turns promising signs into real wins. And that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. The noise started in Week 1 of the regular season, when 7 free agents came through Gillette Stadium for workouts. It sounds procedural, but nothing in Foxboro is by accident. The group included wideouts Andrew Armstrong and Jakobi Meyers, and defensive backs Tyron Herring, Danako Slaughter, Major Williams, Trey Dean, and Malik Dixon-Williams. Each one brings a story of persistence and numbers that catch your eye, even after recent cuts elsewhere. The intriguing element isn't these names themselves, but the message from the front office by bringing in so many this early. Vrabel and Wolf want competition at every position, productive discomfort, and zero sacred cows. At the same time, they're targeting gaps that could turn into headaches as early as September. Start with Armstrong, a 6'4", 210-pound wideout who led the SEC in receptions and yards in 2024. He was waived by the Dolphins at the end of the preseason, but he's the kind of profile that grabs attention through size and college production. In practice, he could be a depth piece who grows with coaching. On the other side, Kenny James, smaller, more technical, carried UMass last year with 1,839 yards. He's the type who can offer practice squad versatility, and if the fit is right, push for game snaps. The defensive backs weren't random either. Herring, a captain at Delaware, brings natural leadership plus solid tackle and interception totals. Slaughter, with 56 games between Tennessee and Arkansas, shows durability and experience. Major Williams carries D2 football, All-American credentials from Carson Newman, pairing defensive versatility with special teams impact. Don't forget Dixon-Williams, a physical energy prospect who's less heralded but firmly on the radar. Each one offers specific traits that can be molded in a system that values discipline and quick processing. For fans, the immediate impact might look small. We're not talking stars, this is the back end of the roster, but that's exactly where a playoff push is made or lost. In details, in the fit of players who can step in as emergency starters without a drop-off. Reactions are split already. Some see an active front office that never sleeps. Others wonder if this reveals doubt about the current roster. My view? Pragmatism. Vrabel doesn't want nasty surprises like in recent years when injuries exposed holes with no solutions. He wants cards up his sleeve. There's also a clear message to the locker room: show growth or be replaced. It doesn't matter if you were a high draft pick or a long-timer, the competition is open. That mindset fortifies the meritocracy the new regime is trying to cement. One more detail, it's no coincidence so many defensive backs are under review. Vrabel's roots are defensive, and he knows that while the offense finds rhythm with May, he needs a sturdy secondary and aggressive special teams to keep games close. In the end, these tryouts might look like a footnote, but if one of these names sticks and earns real snaps, we'll look back on this week as the moment an unknown became a key piece in 2025. And that's not even the most surprising thing we've got today. When the final roster was set last week, it looked like nothing would go off script. Then came the shocking cuts that rocked the fan base. Kendrick Bourne and Jabril Peppers, two leadership pillars, were out. That was a direct message that the new regime doesn't care about emotional ties, only the strategic vision. The curious part is that on offense, the team kept young pieces who flashed all preseason, including the jewel who stole the show, Trevion Henderson. The rookie running back showed power, burst, and consistency to the point many believed he could start in week 1. Then the initial depth chart poured cold water on it. Henderson sits as RB3 behind Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson. To fans, it feels inconsistent, almost an affront to what he put on tape this summer. So the debate begins, is this just about hierarchy, making the rookie earn it behind veterans? Or is it staff caution, preferring to deploy Henderson gradually, without skipping steps? The passionate fan sees the tackle-breaking runs, the quick gap reads, the contagious energy, and asks, how do you keep a guy like that on the bench? Strategically, there's logic. Vrabel knows the season is long and bruising. He might want to preserve Henderson, use Gibson as a check-down valve, and let Stevenson absorb early down collisions. That way, the rookie ramps up, gains confidence, and explodes at the right time. But there's also a risk in holding him back too long and wasting the surge of a player who could be the engine of the campaign from the jump. The social media reaction was immediate. On one side, excitement and confidence that Henderson will take the job with time. On the other, frustration that the staff might be delaying the inevitable. Remember, Henderson didn't just shine in Foxboro. He caught the league's attention, with rival analysts lamenting not drafting him earlier. He became one of the steals of the second round, especially for the Browns, who chose his Ohio State teammate and may now pay the price watching Henderson erupt. For the Patriots, he's the type who can redefine offensive identity. Enough speed for explosives, enough power for volume, and receiving chops to give the coordinator multiple looks. If the depth chart looks like a break, the field will be the judge. If Henderson repeats what he showed in August, it's only a matter of time before the chains come off and RB1 is his. Vrabel may hold the pen, but he won't hold back the ball's force when the kid proves a Patriots jersey already has a new owner in the backfield. The real dilemma isn't if Henderson becomes the starter, it's when. And every snap without him will only raise fan pressure, because everyone senses a star is ready to be born in Foxboro. What looked like another week of post-cut tinkering ended up revealing the essence of what Mike Vrabel wants to build in New England. The unofficial depth chart took on added weight when paired with recent moves. Veterans tied to the Belichick era were released without ceremony. Jabril Peppers among them, and others nearly followed. The message couldn't be clearer. History and older contracts don't matter. If you don't fit the new culture, there's no reserved seat. In that same context, an unlikely name landed on the roster, Tommy DeVito. To many, he's just a QB3. To close followers, that choice screams philosophy. Vrabel isn't hunting raw talent alone. He wants profiles that embody the resilience, energy, and humility he's stamping onto the locker room. DeVito isn't a refined prospect, but he showed courage and personality in his giant starts. Fans might shrug at first glance, but in practice, it signals a coach who sees even the bench as an opportunity to mold character. The pattern stands out. In under a year, Vrabel dismantled almost the entire core that symbolized the remnants of the previous era. Bourne Peppers, Devon Godshaw, David Andrews, Joe Cardona, all gone. Kyle Duggar and Anthony Jennings were even floated in trade talks. The message is hard-edged. No one sits above culture and alignment. The spillover effect is direct. Those who remain know they must prove themselves every day. Resume and past achievements aren't enough. It's full-on meritocracy. For fans, the process is bittersweet. Some are pumped, believing the coach is clearing the edges and planting seeds for a sturdier identity. Others fear that letting go of seasoned veterans weakens the roster's short-term talent. That's the rebuild dilemma. Sacrifice now to gain consistency later. Vrabel seems ready to pay that cost, fully aware of the criticism if results don't come fast. DeVito's case captures it well. At 27 with 8 starts and an 88.4 passer rating, he won't fill stadiums by name alone, but he's a medium-term bet. With restricted free agent status only next offseason, the team gets up to 2 years to evaluate before a final decision. It's pragmatic and symbolic. The Italian-American quarterback won hearts in New York with charisma and fearlessness. That's precisely the energy Vrabel seems to want in Foxboro. Young players with something to prove, willing to sacrifice for the crest. Meanwhile, the roster's base is being shaped by a vision over stats filter. Fans may still miss the big names, but for the first time in years, there's a clear line being followed. If the culture takes root, results tend to follow. Patriots 2025 won't be remembered for star count, but for laying a new foundation. And that, believe it, can be more transformative than any headline-grabbing signing. The season has barely started, and you can already feel something different pulsing in Foxboro. Trade rumors reignited old memories. Free agent tryouts showed a sharp eye. The depth chart controversy put a rookie in the spotlight, and the veteran purge made one thing clear. This is a Patriots rebuild with an identity being forged, step by step. Fans are fired up, skeptical, split, but deep down they know this process could define the next decade. So here's my question. Do you believe this new culture can translate into wins as soon as 2025? Drop your take in the comments, hit subscribe, and keep this debate alive because the fans' voice never goes quiet here.